I'll never get over this. I'll never get over this live stuff. It's like back in the day, you had to try real hard to get on television, but now pretty much anybody can be a television broadcaster now. Cool, someone's in the room. That's fun. And now they're gone. Oh man. So since no one's here, I'm just gonna. I don't know. I was thinking about making a video. I'm getting some love on one of my videos, and that's really cool. I'm kind of digging it. I got my dogs coming on over. Hey, Frey. What's going on, babe? You go sit with Dad while he does a YouTube live? Undecided. That's understandable. Okay, I'll see you later. I'll see you later when you're hungry. I'm just kidding. So I'm not very good at YouTube living, but it's fun. It's fun. I'm so terrible at this. Oh Lord. At least I can see my tattoos. That's kind of cool. Get my money's worth out of it. So today, what happened today? What is this stream called? I'd call this stream Monday Night Sesh. Hang on, getting an incoming. Monday Night Sesh. So I'm pretty sure everybody's probably just chilling right now, and that's cool. I'm chilling too. This is how I kind of chill and do my stuff is chill on YouTube Live, even though this is my second time rocking on chilling. Rocking on chilling. So what happens when you don't see a lot of people? You stumble over your words. Um, so the Monday night sesh, yeah, today. Today was a great day. Today was a great day. And here's another. I'm just gonna casually look at my text messages because I don't think anyone's like in a hurry to jump on the stream. Oh, my buddy. Uh, talked to my buddy today, and sometimes he gets a little depressed. I asked him if he wanted to come on here and laugh at me while I did a YouTube live, but it looks like he's had enough fun for today, which sounds really depressing. All right, bro. I'll text you tomorrow. Mhm. So this young man is in a similar position like me, without the mental illness. He's just, he lives alone, and when you live alone, not everyone can, hack it. I mean, he hacks it. Such a horrible word. He can live alone. He is fine. He does everything great, on paper, but he's just not happy. And I hate putting that out there, but um, I didn't say his name or anything. I feel like that's true for most people that live alone. Um, sometimes it's hard. It's hard not having a companionship and whatnot. So I hate that for him. It makes me feel bad because I can empathize with his situation. I live alone, and um, I have some of the same things and problems that he encounters. You know, loneliness and sometimes you feel a little unfulfilled when it's just you and yourself. Thankfully, I have a dog, um, and I have some awesome neighbors and an awesome few group of people in my life that that talk with me and I guess you could say we hang out, go for rides and stuff, get me out of the house from this anxiety and get me trying to get past my boundaries, and I'm very grateful for that. But my buddy, I don't know, he's always kind of felt unfulfilled. Again, I feel horrible talking about his situation, but because I don't have his permission, but under anonymity, I believe it should be fine. He just, I'll put it like this. I think most of us, when we're younger, we think of ourselves as certain milestones at certain years of age. And for some of us, we hit those milestones, or for some of us, we're near those milestones, or just close enough to where we're satisfied. And then there's other people that it just really hits them hard, and they're unhappy that they're haven't found their significant other, and it's getting later in life, and that really gets to some people, and it's just kind of like, if you ever heard of Eric, there's a psychologist Eric is kind of like Freud. I forget his last name, but it's one of his levels of psychology is industry versus inferiority, and these levels are split up through stages in lives like Freud's model was, but his goes on to later life. And like one of the more later ones is inferiority versus industry. Excuse me. And that one is kind of like when in your 20s, maybe your early 30s, and you're either on the right path and you're happy with what you're doing work wise, mindset, and happy with this. I believe this goes with social circles too. Happy with your social circles or just your atmosphere in general. That would be industry. You're happy with what you're doing. You're happy with work. And then there's the other side of it. You can fall into the two groups, and that's inferiority, which is why they call it the level of industry versus inferiority. And this happens during the same age group. So, like late 20s, early 30s, this category. And inferiority, some people fall into this category, and it's the people that are like, oh man, excuse me, like, oh man, I'm not on the path I should be, or I don't enjoy my work, which in today's world, I feel like that's pretty common not to enjoy your work. We all have to work to survive, and sometimes you just got to take what you get. But I think the inferiority is just really just kind of a doom and gloom, like you're not satisfied. Sorry, you're not satisfied in your life around that age. You're working, but you don't can't really find any joy out of it. Um, and you're just kind of looking back on the past. Um, I feel like there's probably a good majority that fall into this category if you want to base it off of this. Eric's levels of growth. I forget what the exact name is. I learned this way back in psychology. Um, but a lot of people fall in that category. And, the few, and I wouldn't say lucky, just the few fall into the industry. They love what they do. And I love it when people find that stuff. You can tell I wasn't an English major. Um, I'm not pouting. You're pouting. That's funny. Um, Sorry, message. Um, um, um. So my buddy, he's around my age, and I won't disclose my age. I'm in my 30s, not very high 30s. We'll just leave it at that for security and identification purposes. He's just been down. He's a successful guy on paper, and he's done a lot of feats that is really good for his age. He's owned a house. He's bought land already, and he's just something's missing to him. Like as his perspective, something's missing. Um, I think he could benefit from some things, but I don't want to get into that. But I guess my main point is this little tangent I went on is that around this age and milestones, that shit can get to you. And this is what I figured out is that really that stuff is kind of outdated, especially with inflation and everything today, and the economy and the way people are getting their wages, how they're getting paid, even if they have a college degree or not. Um, Having those milestones set in you at an early age, um, is norm. But now, today in the modern times, um, it's okay not to hit those milestones right away. And if you do, that's awesome. And if you don't beat yourself up to death. That's all. You gotta There is no timeline. The only timeline there is a timeline on your life, and we don't know what that is. So the best thing that anyone can do, at least this is what I tell myself, is you gotta do things at your own pace. And if things aren't working out for you during a specific time and that milestone's coming up, then you don't need to worry about it. You just need to settle down and hang in there. Um, because I feel like that's what most people get hung up on is, our mortality and where we're at in life. And, am I going to have a family or like a significant other? Excuse me. I don't know. I'm coughing. Should probably go to the doctors for that. But yeah, I mean, I feel like a lot of people get hung up on that expectations and stuff, but the milestones and everything that's all kind of thrown out the window, especially when you get to the so-called age of when you're supposed to accomplish them. All it does is cause discomfort if you're not meeting those so-called mile. I didn't rehearse for this. If you're not hitting those so-called milestones, all it does is cause misery. And I feel like that's where a lot of people get depressed and stuff. And it's like, hey, I'm 30 or I'm 32 or I'm 35 and I'm still at home with mom and dad, because I can't afford a house or because I live somewhere where rent's super high. Um and I'm worried about how people will judge me. That's okay. you know, who cares? I mean, honestly, you gotta tell yourself, that you don't care. I mean, there will be some people that judge you, but, they don't walk in the shoes that you walk in. Everybody's different, and, every situation's different. So, I don't know. Like I said, I just learned this a while back, and this stream, I'm pretty much just talking just off my head because I didn't really know what the hell I was gonna talk about, but, you know, I think it started out with my buddy being, upset, depressed, and kind of unfulfilled. Um, Sometimes you just gotta take a step back, you know, and not be so hard on yourself. I used to be very hard on myself. I still am at times, but I've learned to take a step back. And I used to worry about the milestones too. I'll tell you a story related to that where I had a little bit of a crisis, um, a milestone crisis. Probably this was back when I was in like 19 or 20. You know, at that age, you're young, and that's when you're deciding to pick the path you want to go on for a career, or if you want to go the academia route, or which would be college, to get a degree. And those are fun times. Fun. You're still young. You still got time, some wiggle room. And for me, that route was going to RN school, which is become a registered nurse. Sorry about that. And I got in with actually the guy I'm talking to. Um, and we went through that together. And it was a 2-year program. And, that's first, it's one of your milestones is go to college or get a job or do both, depending on your circumstance. And he was successful. And I was banking on becoming an RN and making a good amount of money and going off and going off into the world, setting the little baby bird free. That's gonna be me, the little baby bird just flying into the world like, hey, I'm ready. I'm set. I got a job, got an education. Well, unfortunately, I was unsuccessful. And I ended up getting a semester, D third semester for I was preoccupied with someone I was dating. And I put those needs first. And not blaming that entirely on my failure, but it had to do a great deal with why I did not pass. I was um, putting people before myself at a critical time. So this is where I had like my milestone crisis was probably I was probably about 20 by now. I got a year and a half into the program, had a half year left, and just ended up just missing it. And that tore me up. That sent me through a real bad depression. All my friends moved on to their last semester. I didn't get to move on with them. I had to figure out what I was gonna do. I didn't know what I wanted to do besides, be a nurse. I have a lot of family members that are nurses, so I was a wreck for a while, and I was a wreck for a couple of years. I actually stayed with my family for a couple of years where they moved around. I felt ashamed. You know, um, Started drinking a lot, and it wasn't until a little bit while later I kind of a little bit while later. I mean, like 5 or 6 years later, I was like, hey, you know, not everybody's perfect. You don't have to go back to nursing school if you don't want to. The situation's changed. Let's try a different route. And that's what I did. So, did I hit a milestone eventually? I guess maybe in a way. I didn't find my forever job, um, but it was an important life lesson for me. And here I am, in a similar predicament as my friend. Um, I live alone. I can afford to live alone, which is great. In my 30s. I don't have a house. I don't have a significant other. Um, I have some, anxiety issues, which prevent me from doing some things on my bad days. But I used to be worried about all that stuff. Uh, getting a house, uh, growing old together with somebody. Um, you know, because sometimes everybody thinks this. When is it gonna let up? You know, and I think my friend's in a position similar to that, and I get like that as well. But the main takeaway is just you gotta do things at your own pace. You gotta adapt. And by adapt, I don't mean like you gotta do it now, like it's an army thing. Like you gotta like it's okay. There's a lot of people out there that, have not hit those so-called milestones. And, there's a lot of sadness in the world too. And I think most of we get most of this idea from like social media, which is, I'm on a social media platform. You see so many people posting their best pictures or their best moments of the day, or when they bought their first house, or when they're getting married. And that's where people start comparing themselves like, hey, when's that going to happen for me? When about like 30 or 40 years ago, we didn't have that. And it seemed like things weren't so um, burdensome. It just kind of happened. We still say it'll happen, but it literally just kind of happened back then because we didn't have social media or anything to rely on. We weren't really comparing ourselves to anybody besides our neighbors. Um, so I guess I can, for the message of this Monday night sesh, which I had no idea what the hell I was going to talk about. The message is, since I brought my friend into the situation and made it part of the video, and being unfulfilled or unsatisfied, um, sometimes you just got to take a step back and enjoy some of the little things. And if you don't see a lot of little things, then try and find some things that are little that can make you happy, that can make you smile. Or if you don't like to smile, smile on the inside. That's what I do. I live in an apartment. It's not the most luxurious apartment besides this really nice piece in the back. Um, but I have moments where, I really enjoy myself. I didn't mean to laugh at that. I do have small moments where I really enjoy myself. So like today I sat outside for a minute instead of being stuck at my work computer. Just me and my dog. Just instead of walking her around, I laid on my back and just held on the leash and she hung out and I just looked at the clouds, do something like that. But I think our society is just so geared towards this fast paced movement, these side hustles, and these younger, the younger generation just having a bunch of money from blowing up on social media, and everyone wants to be like that. And when you fall short of that, people get depressed. Just take a step back, man. The only timeline you're on is your own. And like I said, you don't know when that's up. So do what brings you happiness when you can, and when you're in a situation that brings you happiness, enjoy it. Because so I was listening to something today. What is a rich man? Is on TikTok, of course, another social media platform. What is a rich man? Is it how much money you have? Is it how much things you have? Or is it, you know, how happy and how at peace in yourself that you are? Which I know is probably a grammatical incorrect sentence, but it's being a rich man is being a good man. I just got lost in thought. It's being a good man, knowing when to stick up for others, and it's knowing when not to be too hard on yourself, and always be kind to others. Um, I'm not always this great at these live things, but I seem to enjoy them, so which is why I'm doing them. What else can I say before I end off the stream? Yeah, I think social media has been good for, the economics of the world, but I don't think it's been the best on mental health and how people perceive what is normal in life and in beauty and appearance. And I believe it causes a lot of body dysmorphia. Do I use social media? Yes. It is indeed addicting because everyone else is on it. Sometimes you got to turn it off, though. This is my favorite social media, Life and Anxiety Live. I'm just kidding. Well, I don't know. That was my humble rant, which I don't really know 100% of what I just said because I've been talking for 28 minutes and 26 seconds. So I'll probably take a look at this in a little bit. But for those people out there feeling unfulfilled, you're in a later age or you're at a younger age and you just, you've seen other people excel and maybe, you feel like that you should be there too. You should be excelling as well. Don't beat yourself up. Don't feel bad. You're going to excel, but you're going to excel when the time is right. That's the only difference. And there's nothing wrong with that. That's exactly how it's supposed to go. So, you know, enjoy life when you can and help out your neighbors in need and pet lots of dogs.